And now,
Under cash management process, first topic we discuss. Receipts and payments. Cash management process we discuss. The first topic, receipts and payments. What are the tools organization use to do this transaction? Banks, and points, transfers, bank transfers, dividend, credit card. So receipts and payments tools. Bank notes and points. Six. Bank transfer and debit. Debit and credit card. So transactions, receipts and payments, through these tools or methods, all the transactions must be first management process. All the transactions must be followed. Cash management process, transactions are and payments. After receipts and payments, transactions taking place. What is the first management activity? Recording. Recording. Transactions. For that, there you see cash. This cash book must be balanced. Third topic, under recording part, subtopic, we discuss reconciliation, mainly bank reconciliation. On the bank reconciliation, purpose we discuss. Purpose of the bank rec we discuss. And reason for reason for differences between cash and bank statement variations. Okay. So what's the fourth topic we discuss? Cash surplus. Investment. Count it down this one. So that next topic. Fourth, fifth topic. Cash. So note these four topics. Because petty cash has several subtopics also. First, note it down this one and okay. Okay. Next topic. The petty cash. The petty cash system. Discuss. Cash. Process. Okay, petty cash focus. So here. We discussed two things. I have given entire petty cash purpose, but that petty cash purpose you can classify into two categories. Money given to petty cashier and payments made. to petty cash. Yeah. And they discuss about IOU, petty cash system, IOU advance. If 11% takes advance from petty cashier, what are the treatments? So within 24 hours, all IOUs must be cleared. After that, discuss about interest system. Okay. Interest system. Anything else we discuss? Anything else we discuss? Apart from these topics, any topics we discuss? What's the last topic we discussed? No. Yeah. Under cash management process, what was the last topic we discussed? Business risk. Don't write business risk. Right, like, risk in cash management form. For internal controls, I gave only two areas. Cash and flows are three areas. Cash and flows are given. Purchase, sales, and cash management already are given. Property, plant and equipment, inventory. I'm not going to include internal controls in the table. So today we will be able to finish it off PP management. When you are coming next class, right? PP related internal controls. Already we discussed three controls, no? Three areas, three process controls. So you should have knowledge about the internal controls. Right here, I will give. Okay. Just understand the controls and relevant processes. Write your own internal controls. Okay, at least each one should write 5 controls related to PP. And after that, PP and if we finish, we can complete today. A complete inventory management. This inventory management also you should write right now. So next class I will give. Separately I will give internal controls related to the inventory and property management. Equipment management. Okay. These are the topics we discuss under the cash management process. Okay. So we will continue our balance part in PB management process. So last class we discussed up to fixed asset risk. So quickly we will review what are the things we have discussed under property planning equipment management. Under property planning equipment, we have to consider management process in three areas. First, before purchasing, after purchasing, and safeguards. So before purchasing, we have to control our cost. Basically, unwanted costs. We can't eliminate the PP cost. In order to run the business, definitely organization must have PP, so they have to incur. But they can control. They can control PP cost. So for that purpose, they are using capex budget. Okay. So those are coming under before purchasing situation. Before purchasing the PP, each and every organization must have capex budget. Based on the capex budget only, they should make their purchase next 3-4 years. Second thing we have discussed, even though they have capex budget, before purchasing individual PP item, they should have proper authorization. They should have proper approval from the authorized person. For that, they are using authorization form. Okay. So those are coming under before purchasing category. Third one, vendor selection. I showed last class. Sometimes already you might have selected the vendors. Those vendors are into to supplier list. So here we assume that we are going to select new vendors. For that also will come under before purchasing category. So here we are selecting the vendors for PP purchase, basically large items. When we are selecting the vendors, generally we should get the before selecting the vendors, we should get the tenders from the suppliers. So generally we select low price suppliers. But certain situation, even though a supplier quoted low price, we may not select that supplier. Instead of that supplier, we may select other suppliers because of these reasons. The selected supplier might have more experience. The selected supplier might have good relationship with organization. The selected supplier might have good track record, and the selected supplier can complete the work within time limit. So because of these 4 reasons, sometimes we may select other suppliers rather than low price quoted supplier. Okay. And these 3 areas you should remember before purchasing the property planning equipment. Okay. Now you have purchased the property planning. After purchasing the property planning equipment, pre-management activity, recording is the most important part. So once you purchase the PP or asset, you must record that asset in FAR. For that purpose, we are using non-current asset list. Okay. All the information related to PP must be included in FAR, fixed asset list, or else you can say non-current asset list. What are the information you should include here? Purchase cost, purchase date, in which location you are going to store that asset or fix that asset, depreciation, accumulated depreciation, depreciation method. If you dispose that asset, sales proceed. What's the carrying value at the time of disposal? What's the profit? Code number. So these are the information you should mention in the FAR related to the particular asset. Clear? So one thing you must keep in your mind: asset management process in your level. As I told, lot of asset management processes are there. Activities are there. We are not going to discuss that extent. But in your level, basic asset management is reported. Once you purchase the asset, not only here, cash, PP, and next year we are going to discuss about inventory. All these asset management process have one common thing: recording. Once you enter into the transaction, that transaction must be recorded in the books. Books might be varied, no issue. FAR, cash book, in inventory we can say bill cards. Likewise, document might be varied, but intention must be same. Recording. Proper recording must be taken place. Otherwise, basic element of management will be missed. So this must be kept in your mind. This must be kept in your mind. First thing, recording is the crucial thing when it comes to asset management process. Okay. So here, first recording part is FAR. When you are purchasing the asset, before entering the ledger, you should enter in the FAR. Okay, first FAR, second ledger. So fifth topic, recording non-current assets in the bookkeeping. That's simple. I don't need to explain too much. Recording PB in the books of accounts means what are the elements we have in the accounts in relation to the PP. Number one, cost, capital. Study karo diya naman PP standard diya naman. PK 16. Diya naman. So first one, cost capitalization. Subsequent, you may use cost model or evaluation model. So second part, depreciation. Statement basis or reducing balance by the basis. So these are things explained here. The benefits to the organization first, before you capitalize the asset, basic criteria must be satisfied. What are the criteria? PP. Study kara the audit method. Study kara nahi. PP. Study kara nahi. Basically, normally are financial report we study kara plus less easy subjects study kara PP and right. So before you capitalize, these things must be satisfied. Economic benefits. Economic benefits should be transferred to the company, and that must be used more than 1 year. Those are the basic things. So if those things are satisfied, I'm not going to discuss the accounting part. So if those things are satisfied, then you can capitalize the asset. Once you capitalize the asset, when you capitalize the asset, you should recognize two things: capitalized cost and depreciation cost. These are the things explained here. The benefits to the spending on non-current asset is capitalized. The cost is spread over the expected useful life. The asset means like depreciation charges. Capitalization, the benefits to the organization will be obtained over a number of years, more than 1 year. For the purpose of measuring annual expenditure and profit, the capital cost will be spread over the expected useful life. Simple question. Why we should depreciation. Let's say you have incurred 1 million rupees to purchase the cost, purchase the BP. That's the machine. Then machine can be used over 5 years period. 5 years period can. Then why you can't recognize entire 1 million in first year? Why you should spread that 1 million into 5 years period? What's the purpose? Can use 5 years? Okay, fine. That's a great thing. You can use 5 years. Because of that, you're associating that is okay. Why you can't recognize entire 1 million in the first year itself? Why you can't recognize entire 1 million in the first year? Yeah, usage lifetime is 5 years. Okay, 5 years. Okay, that is one reason. Okay. Why we are spreading that expenses over 5 years period? Have you learned about matching concept? If you can use that machines over 5 year period, that machine will contribute to your revenue over 5 years period. So whatever expenses you are incurring against the revenue, you should recognize the same period. So that machine can produce, let's say, throughout 5 years period, that machine can produce 1,000 units. Example, 1,000 units means 200. It's like this. First year, आगे करने पर first year product produce करना पड़ेगा क्या क्या assumption लगाते 200 क्या लगा तो let's say 200 units can be produced. Then first year 200 units you can sell. So you can earn revenue. So that related to cost related to that 200 units, you should recognize in the first year. You can't recognize entire 1,000 units in the first year and balance revenue part you can't recognize next 4 years. Each year you have to match with your revenue and expenses. That's the main reason to depreciate, and other reason we can use for the period of time. Depreciation, a non-current asset has cost and limited useful life, value eventually declines. It follows that the charge should be made in the description of capital to reflect the use that is made of the asset by the business. This charge called depreciation. Depreciable amount of less expected residual value or disposable value. Amounts related to non-current assets are at cost, depreciation, annual depreciation, and net book value. So next topic, disposal of current assets. So when you purchase the PP, you should get the approval from authorized person. So likewise, when you dispose the assets also, you have to get proper authorization from authorized person. Okay. So you can't dispose the asset whenever you want. Okay. So that also you have to get the approval because that is asset disposal. Asset is going to be disposed. Yeah. So honest lagi asset dispose करना है. So that in that process also you have to get approval. Okay. So same as addition authorization form, here also asset disposal form is there. So there also you have to mention the company information, company name, date of purchase, date of disposal of the particular asset, and original cost of that asset, estimated depreciation, net book value, sales proceed, and what is the profit. So disposal related things must be included in the disposal authorization form. So you should keep in your mind one thing, same as addition, disposal also, approval must be taken from the authorized person. And what are the information must be included in the disposal authorization form? Sales proceed, cost, carrying value, reason for disposal also you must tell. And it must be authorized by authorized person. If it is based on the value, authorization level also might be changed. If it is 50,000, accountant level can authorize. If it is 100,000, finance manager should authorize. If it is 1 million, finance director should authorize. Based on the value, authorization hierarchy must be changed. Okay, before discussing business risk, can you tell me, can you three business risks associated with PPP? Already we discussed that. Purchase, sales, cash management, risk discuss that. PPP can be risk blockchain. Not yet, one is four. Risk killer, you they hurry now. Yeah. Tell me at least 3 risks related to PPP process. So now we have discussed. What are the topics we have discussed? I told one thing. If business risk, you have been asked to write business risk, just don't think too much. Just think what are the topics we have discussed. If any mistakes happen in those topics, that is called risk. So what are the topics we have discussed under PPP? Let me give it. Yeah. What are the topics we discussed? Only 5 or 6 topics are there. 6 topics are there. Yeah. First one, capital capex. Second one, authorization. Third one, vendor selection. Yeah, okay, supply selection. Fourth one, okay. Both are correct. Supply selection. Fourth one, most important, recording. After purchasing, recording. Fixed asset register. Fifth one, bookkeeping system, and sixth one is disposal. These are the 6 topics we discuss under PPP. Just think what are the risks involved in these processes, these documents. Let's say capex. This is a technical word use karne ka. Don't use technical word. Okay. Mistakes. What are the mistakes can be happen in capex budget? हम किए नहीं होते हैं आगे इस लिए कहते हुए पीछे का क्वेश्चन है ये बात इसका purchase asset purchases have been taken place without considering capex, so cost may go up. This according to your capex budget, already you have prepared the capex budget, no issue, but you have not considered capex budget when you are purchasing the asset. So according to the capex budget 1 million, but you have purchased 1.2 million, 200,000 loss. So issue. Yeah, mistakes in purchase authorization. So without approval, purchase was taking place. Tell me in FAR, data quantity in the vacuum. FAR is one of the receive. Yes, not according to FAR. Then FAR and physical balance will be different. Anything else? Okay. Actual useful life is 5 years, but recognition has 3 years. Anything else? The margin. Simple. Technical thing, good up there, you know, audit and internal control is one of the most straightforward. FIR itself, you can tell a lot of things. One is entire asset has not been recorded in the FIR. Missed. And useful life. Cost amount might be wrong, actual cost and FIR recorded cost. So like this, FIR itself, you can tell a lot of things. Okay. Disposal without proper approval, PP has been disposed. Okay, without approval. And sale price. Asset was disposed less than market value. That's also risk. So, acquisition of non-current assets without proper authorization. That's why I told first, if you have been asked to write risk, don't think too much. First, think about the topics that we have discussed. If any mistakes happen in that topic, that is risk. If it is cash management, cash book, if any errors taking place in the cash book, that is risk. If any errors taking place in the bank reconciliation, if bank reconciliation is not properly done every month, at least every month, that is a problem. Okay. Acquisition of non-current assets in excess of the organization ability to finance. CapEx. Here, acquisition of non-current assets in the excess of organization ability to finance. I told that CapEx already they have budgeted 1 million, but they have budgeted 1.5 million. If you write like that, that is also okay. No need to write the same word. So already budgeted 1 million, but actually spent 1.5 million, 500,000 loss to. No, I'm not saying loss, but they have not properly analyzed. If they have properly analyzed, then they can reduce the cost. Disposal of non-current assets without proper authorization. Save, loss, or damage. Most important. Laptops or blown. So likewise, damage or loss. There is that non-current assets cannot be found or do not exist. He told purchase item is not available in the FIR. On the other way around, in the FIR you have a asset, but basically not available. It's also a problem. The risk that the accounting records for non-current assets are incorrect. Discrepancies can be detected by means of reconciliation of non-current asset register to the non-current asset account the ledger. Ledger and FIR differences. You can write in short form books of accounts and FIR differences. So that must be reconciled. So these are the few risks. You can't limit only these 5 risks. Whatever is few think these are the risks in relation to the process, then you can write. This means mistakes in the PP process or documents, PP documents. Okay. Right answer to this question here discussed. Shall we discuss? Which is the correct ending to the following statement? First FAR, second ledger O, first ledger and FAR. First in the appropriate non-current asset account, the ledger, and then non-current asset ledger. A, B1, first in the non-current asset register, and then in the appropriate non-current asset account ledger, which is correct. A is correct one. Second one, limits on capital expenditures are imposed by CapEx, capital expenditure. What check can be made on the existence of asset recorded in the non-current asset register? What check? What the check? What check can be made on the existence of assets recorded in the non-current asset register? In the asset register, you have 10 items. Now you want to verify whether 10 items are eligible or not. What check? Physical verification. Okay. Speaking topic. Now we are going to discuss about inventory management. Already we discussed and we covered cash management, inventory management. Now, third management process, inventory management. So compared to PP and cash, inventory is a little bit. Some notes are there. So I have summarized that one. So we will discuss one by one. If you have any doubts, ask me. Fifth topic, inventory management. So first one, what are the activities involved in the inventory management? First, you should know about those activities. So inventory and purchase are not two separate things. Okay. First, you understand one thing: inventory and purchase are not two separate things. In order to store the items, you have to purchase the item. So inventory management activities. First one. Ordering. Ordering inventory. It's on the inventory management activities. Ordering inventory, receiving. First, you have to order the inventory and you should receive the inventory and receiving into the store. Storing. So first, you have to order the items. Once you order the items, you should purchase the item. So this one and this one, order, purchase, and you have to store. Purchase so you have to store it, and issue it to relevant department. Control the inventory level. And sixth one. Physical sales costs. So these are the topics we are going to discuss under inventory management. Ordering inventory, receiving into the store, storing, issuing to the relevant department, control the inventory level, physical safeguards. So these are the main topics, main activities involved in the inventory management. That's why I told we can't separate purchase and inventory. This ordering part and receiving part we already discussed under purchase procurement process. Already discussed under already discussed same purchase process. Even though we have discussed in the purchase process, it doesn't mean it's not inventory management process. This is part of inventory management process, but we are not going to discuss again. So this is ordering inventory, purchase order, receiving into the stores, purchase. Now you have purchased the goods. From here onwards, other 4 steps we are going to cover in inventory management process. Okay. So each and every process has, each and every activity has subtopics also. One by one, we will discuss in detail. Okay. Just note it down these 6 topics. So I will raise and we will start with storing. So before discussing the theory and storing part, I just want to ask one question. Why inventory management is important? Okay, what are the inventory items you know? What are the classifications in inventory? Raw material, finished goods, WIP, engineering stocks, software parts, those are the inventory classifications available in the organization. Why inventory management is important? Why inventory management is important? Why inventory management is important? Stop. Now to stock maintenance. Okay. Okay. Any answers? Why inventory is important to the organization? I can ask like that. Why inventory is important? Inventory management. Forget about that inventory management, technical side. Why inventory is important to organization? To earn revenue, inventory is most important thing. Okay, it's a simple question. Second one, why? Okay, we need inventory. Fine. Without inventory, we can't earn money. Whether manufacturing company or trading company, buy and selling company, inventory is must. Okay. Without inventory, we can't earn money. That's why we should manage inventory. Inventories are important. Okay, fine. That is no doubt. Inventories are important. But at the same time, in order to earn revenue, you should incur some cost. Mainly project cost, inventory cost. Let's say inventory cost. Without incurring inventory cost, you can't earn money, no. revenue. You should keep a margin and you should earn money. That's called revenue. Okay. So you need inventory to earn revenue. You have to incur cost. Without incurring cost, you can't earn money. When you incur the cost, that cost must be controlled. Okay. Let's say you want to achieve 1 million profit. Okay. In order to achieve that 1 million profit, first you have to purchase inventory. And let's say GP margin. I'm not discussing about other things. Gross profit margin, sales revenue and purchase cost. In order to achieve 1 million GP gross profit, you need revenue and you need cost. You have to incur cost. So this GP margin, you have to maintain the GP margin. You have to maintain your cost and your revenue. Again, elements like a fee. So let's say if you let's assume 1 million means 4 million and 3 million. 4 million your revenue and 3 million is your purchase cost. So then you can earn 1 million. Just for example for understanding purpose. If 4 million, you can't change your price because your competitors are in the market, lot of competitors are there. So in order to compete with them, you have to maintain the price. So 4 million is the fixed price. So on the other hand, to increase your gross profit, you can reduce your cost. If it is 3 million, 1 million you can achieve. If it is 2.5 million, you can achieve 1.5 million profit. So purchase cost is 3 million or inventory cost is 3 million. So this is the mandatory one. You have to incur. That you can't avoid. But other cost related to inventory, you can minimize, reduce. Unwanted cost. Basically, we are saying unwanted cost. Mandatory costs are there. Without inventory cost, you can't earn money. So that is mandatory. Purchase cost is mandatory. So when you are selecting the supplier, low price customer, low cost customer also, low cost supplier also you are selecting now. At that time, you will consider cost. So that is separate thing. So when you are selecting the supplier, one supplier has quoted 3 million, another supplier has quoted 2.5 million means you can decide low price supplier. But after you purchase, in order to maintain your profit or maximize your profit, unwanted inventory cost must be controlled. Okay, you need inventory. There is no doubt. There is no any doubt. You need inventory. We can't avoid inventory. But inventory related unwanted cost we have to reduce. Then only we can maximize our profit. Okay. What type of unwanted cost? Now, your demand is 100 units. You know, more than that you can't sell. We take a particular month based on your business, you know, 100 units only you can sell. So you should purchase only 100 or 110. That amount you should define. It's like this. If it is 100, your demand is 100, then you should not purchase 150. Okay. On the other hand, you should not purchase 50. The middle level you should decide. 105. 5 excess you should keep. If any chance, if demand goes up, then you should be able to sell that item. Otherwise, cover level අපිට 100 units තමයි දෙන්නේ පාක් වැඩි නෑ අපිට දෙන්න බෑ කියලා කිව්වොත් business එක lose වෙනවා. So some margin you should have. If you have 100, then you should keep 110 or 105, but not 150. If you keep 150, what will happen? Additional storage cost. Additional cost, not only storage, other cost. To maintain that asset, maintain that inventory, some cost you have to incur. So that will impact to your profit. If you don't maintain 100 units or 110, let's say you have maintained only 80 units or 90 units, then you will lose your customer then. So you have to decide what is the limit I have to maintain by controlling my unwanted inventory cost. So that is the challenge. Okay, that is the challenge for organization. So you can't keep quantity equal to your demand at the same time less than your demand. So if you maintain the quantity less than your demand means holding cost, maintaining cost, those costs you can reduce, but main cost you will lose. What's that? Customers. Opportunity cost. So if you maintain 150, 140, maintenance cost will come. So in between you have to balance. Okay. So that balancing is challenge for organization. How they can balance the inventory without incurring unwanted cost. I'm not saying cost. You have to incur cost in order to survive in the business. Without cost, you can't earn money, no. So how to reduce the unwanted cost? So in order to reduce the unwanted cost, certain decisions, certain controls measures, certain level decision making, which means how many items I have to keep at any given point of time. So those decisions must be taken by the organization. Those decisions will be taken based on inventory management certain activities. Okay, those are the things we are going to discuss under inventory management. That's why I told inventory is most important part in organization process. We need inventory. We have to incur cost. Without cost, we can't earn money. Okay. If you want to earn 1 million profit, we have to incur 3 million cost. So definitely we have to incur how we can reduce other unwanted costs without interrupt our business. These two things are most important. How to reduce unwanted cost without interrupt our business process. That's why I told you can't keep 150. At the same time, you can't keep 80 also. You have to balance 105, 110. Then you can't make you 110, 105 kilo. Over 110, 105 kilo can't take here. So just understand first before discussing that theory in detail. We have to maintain, if your demand is 100, you have to maintain 110 or 105. Little bit excess you have to maintain. How that excess can be calculated, we will discuss. Okay. So that's the challenge of organization. So here, you can't keep less than your demand. At the same time, you can't keep more items than your demand. Little amount you should keep to save your demand. So unwanted cost must be reduced by unwanted cost must be reduced without interrupting your business operation, without interrupting customer demands. And third one, certain items are there, the specific items, food related items, perishable nature items. Items maintain in order to maintain those items also, inventory controls are important. Okay. So first, what are the inventory items? Raw materials, finished goods, WIP and TAPAs, engineering stocks. Why inventory control is important? To avoid unwanted cost. Second one, without interrupting your business, you should maintain inventory in proper manner. Inventory control you should have. And third one, certain items, vegetable items should be maintained in proper manner. So first, before discussing storing activity, I want to discuss certain things. So why should we control inventory? Why should we control inventory? Holding cost of inventory may be expensive. If you keep more inventories, then maintenance cost. 100 demand, 150, then maintenance cost for 50 is more expensive. Production will be disrupted if raw materials are out of stock. Okay, without interrupt your business process, you have to maintain inventory. Third one, when inventory is short shelf life, so that food items is not used, there will be the write-off cost. Let's say milk packets, milk packets expired date. Dawes 4 ka diye, dawes 3 ka diye, dawes 3 ka diye. So you are doing the business, milk packet buy and selling business. Now you know next 3 days your demand is 50. Okay. So next 3 days demand is 50 means you can purchase 55 or 60. You should not purchase 80. What will happen if you purchase 80? Balance 30 will be written off. Because expired. After passing expired, you can't sell. At the same time, you can't purchase, you should not purchase 30 because your demand is 50. You should earn money. So in that situation, you should purchase 50 or 55 more than your demand. So you should not purchase 70 or 80. If you purchase 70 or 80 after expired date, you should write off that 30 packets. Classification of inventories, raw material, work in progress, spare parts, and finished goods, and functions of inventory control. Inventory ordering, receiving goods into store, storing items until prepared, issuing inventory, controlling the levels of inventory, protecting inventory from physical loss, which means physical safeguards. These 6 activities are involved in inventory management. So first, we are going to discuss one by one. Storing material items. Okay. Storing material items. So storing materials. Storing inventory. First topic, storing inventory. Under storing inventory, how many first question? How many inventory management process? 6. Order, receiving, storing, issuing whenever required, control the inventory levels, and physical safeguards from physical damage. So one by one we are going to discuss. We are not going to discuss about ordering and purchase, already discussed under procurement process. So we are going to start our discussion with storing materials. When we were discussing PP, when you purchase the PP, what's the first activity you follow? After purchasing. I'm not discussing about before purchasing. After purchasing, let's say after purchasing the PP, first activity what you should follow? After purchasing, first activity what you should follow? Yeah, register, recording. In a pair, not the asset. Likewise, here also, once you purchase, at the time of purchase, what are the documents you are using? GRN. I'm not going to talk about other things, already we discussed. So now goods are received into the store. At the time of receiving the goods, storekeeper should put good received now. That is done. Purchase over. Now, stored goods are recorded in the bin cards. Okay. And bin cards are the so stored goods should be recorded in the bin cards. In the inventory also, inventory process also, first step under storing record. Stored good must be recorded in the bin card. Bin card might be manual or computerized. Okay, it depends, but most of the cases nowadays computerized bin cards are there. Earlier, 15-20 years back, only that manual bin cards were there, but now computerized bin cards are there. But objective is same. Recording inventories. So first one, recording inventory levels. You have purchased 100 items. Now, each item should have separate bin cards. Otherwise, computerized inventory card. Okay. We say raw material A, B, C. A should have separate bin card. B should have separate bin card. C should have separate bin card. in and out of a item should be recorded in the bin card. Clear? Every item's movement must be recorded in the bin card. In the storing, first activity recording. Recording inventory level. Recording in bin cards. Bin cards should have in, out, and as of date balance. Particular date balance. Let's say today you have purchased 100 items and you have issued to production department 20 items. In 100, 20 out, 80 working balance. That must be recorded in the, those information must be available in the bin card. So first activity, bin card recording. That means those bin cards might be physical or hard copy or system generated. It is depend. But nowadays, most of the companies are using system generated bin cards. One of the objectives of storekeeping is to maintain accurate records of current inventory levels. That's why I told 100 in, 80 out, 20 as of today inventory level at the store. So current inventory levels. For recording purpose, bin card is used by organization. Clear? The use of bin cards is decreasing. Increasingly, businesses use their computerized the system for recording inventory movements and inventory levels. Nowadays, computer systems are used. Now recorder. Recording part is okay. Now recorder, audit inventories have been recorded properly. Second storing inventory control point activity is identification. If you see garments, in fabrics are there, fabrics here. Fabrics. Let's say if fabric material is there, we can identify this fabric inventory item. So they have, let's say, fabric A, fabric B. Fabric A also blue color, fabric B also blue color. So for us, it is difficult to identify which is good quality, which is second quality. But then, government people, they should identify the item-wise item with identification code. Let's say fabric A, they should recognize as A1. Fabric B, B1. Likewise, they should give specific identification codes. So if specific identification codes are there, easily they can identify the items. Otherwise, they should search. Thanks. Factories වල ඔක්කොම දැන් items තියෙනවා ඔක්කොම items ටික වෙන වෙනම තියෙන්නේ. බලපු ගමන් identify කරන්න පුළුවන් විදියට තියෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. Garment factory නම් garments එකෙන් බලපු ගමන් identify කරන්න පුළුවන් තියෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. So likewise, other companies also, other products also, easily we can identify the inventory items and nature of inventory items. We can separate, we can differentiate the inventory items easily. In order to differentiate, in order to identify, each and every company should have inventory item code. Through that, they can identify. You can see that paint companies, paint catalogs, the multi-lateral paint catalogs. So you can see the paint catalogs. If you see the paint catalogs, all the paints will be like same. But every paint color has separate code. Why they have given that separate code? To easy purpose, to identify easily. In order to identify easily. So likewise, those companies, that type of companies have definitely not only that type of companies, every company should have inventory identification code in order to identify easily. Example, fabric companies, because other companies by layman, we can also identify easily certain things. Not easily, but we can identify. If you put some extra effort, we can identify. But paint companies, fabric companies, we can't identify that much easy. So, in order to reduce that complex process, in order to reduce that complications, definitely organization must give identification code. Easy example, paint companies, you can see the catalogs. You can see the catalogs. Each and every paint has separate code. And green color, green color, different colors we have it. If you have green color different So, in order to specifically identify the item, we should have a separate code. That is called identification of material inventory codes. In the storing activity, when inventories are stored, first they have to record in the bin cards. After that, in order to identify easily, each and every item must be separately. Each and every item must be separated by giving identification code. Okay. Materials held in stores are classified and coded. Advantages of using code numbers to identify materials are as follows. Ambiguity is avoided. Every store's items has a unique code. Time save. If you have code, easily you can identify, then time will be saved. Okay. Using descriptions for stores items can be lengthy and time consuming. Using codes is much faster and more efficient. Make a clear the make a doubt now my under storing process, first you have to record the items, and after recording the items, you have to assign identification code, which is inventory code. Why we are giving inventory code? Easily identify. In order to easily identify. So, if you are going to search the item by description, it may take time. To save the time, and in order to identify easily, inventory codes are needed. Clear? In your company, and if you are working at audit firm or in your company, or if you are working as an accountant, you can see each and every inventory must be coded. In the inventory ledger, you can see. Where company So in your company, you can see in the inventory ledger or inventory report. You can run the inventory report and you can see every inventory must have code, separate code. Okay, every inventory must have separate code. If you are working in audit firm, you can, when you are going for stock observation, you can see. If you get the system report, then in the system report itself, you can see separate item codes are available in the inventory. That is this one. Okay. Third one, the storing materials, storing activity, perpetual inventory system. Perpetual inventory system means it's similar to bin cards. Continuous update. Inventory movements must be continuously updated. That's mean perpetual inventory system. Continuous update. Okay. The third activity in the storing materials, third sub-activity in the storing, perpetual inventory system. Perpetual inventory system means continuous update. Whatever movement taking place in the inventory, that must be updated in the inventory system. Perpetual inventory refers to an inventory recording system whereby the inventory records are updated every time the receipt or issue of inventory occurs. Which means continuous up-to-date. Continuous up-to-date record of the current balance of each item of inventory. It's moreover similar to bin cards. Computerized inventory system, manual inventory records, stores ledgers, records, and bin cards. Last storing activity is most important inventory. Okay. Up to this point, first one, second one, third one. First one is recorded in bin card. Second one is giving identification code. Third one is also recording the inventory. Continuous update. Fourth one, physical count. That is most important thing in inventory management. Physical count. Kalau mono record karat, physically count karan. Okay. So whatever you record in the bin cards or computer system, or if you give identification numbers, the most important thing, inventory must be controlled. Discrepancies, differences you can notice after performing physical count. So physical count is most important thing when it comes to storing inventory activity. There are two types of physical count. One is periodic physical count and continuous physical count. Periodic physical count means all the items will be counted at once in a year. Okay. Year end stock count. Example is year end stock count. Continuous stock taking means, let's say you have 10 variety of items, 10 classifications, A, B, C, like that. So each item should be counted at once in year, rotation basis. Okay, in January month, A item. February month, B item. Likewise, you should count. You are not going to count entire stock in particular date. Entire year, you are counting each item. This one A item, second one B item. Likewise, all items will be counted in the entire year. That is called continuous count. Continuously you are counting the physical. Continuously you are performing the physical count. Item wise. Periodic count means all the items will be counted at specific date. Like our audit stock count, that is periodic count. For management purpose, some companies are doing every month they are counting each items. That is called continuous count. Inventory count of stock take. Inventory records may contain errors. In inventories, this is the one I have explained earlier. Whatever you record in the bin cards in the computer system, that is okay. That's a control point. I'm not saying that's wrong. That's a control point. But physical count is most important thing to get full result from the inventory control. Inventory records may contain errors. Sometimes inventory records might contain errors. Even though you have control, even though you have a lot of controls, but in relation to the records, sometimes inventory records might be wrong. So how you are going to rectify that wrong mistakes? By performing physical count. After performing physical count, physical balances and record balances, you should compare and you have to match. Periodic stock taking is a process where all the inventory items are physically counted at set point in time, usually at the end of accounting period. Continuous stock taking is counting and valuing selected stores items at different times on a rotating basis. If there are continuous stock taking කියන්නේ items 10 තියෙනවා items 10ම rotated basis එකේ count කරන්න එක. Periodic stock count කියන්නේ items ඔක්කොම one shot count කරන්න එක. So this is the format of bin card. Receipt, date, quantity, GR number you have to mention. Issue, date, quantity, requisition note, and inventory balance. So end of the day, this must be matched with the physical count. The objects. Okay. What are the four items? What are the four subsections in the story? We discuss. What are the four subtopics in the story? Recording. For recording, first we are using bin cards. So nowadays, computerized inventory systems are used. Second one, identification. For that, inventory codes are given. By inventory codes are given to easily identify the item in order to save the time. Third one, perpetual inventory system, that is very easy. That is equal to bin cards. So continuous update. Continuous inventory movements must be continuously updated. Fourth one, physical count. There are two types of physical count. Periodic, continuous. Periodic means all the inventories will be counted at once in particular year. Continuous means all the inventories will be counted in rotated basis. Each month or each time, one inventory will be counted. So if we take entire year, all the inventories will be counted. Second activity, issuing inventories to relevant department. So now, let's say raw materials, you have purchased raw materials. You have purchased raw materials from your supplier. Now, purchased raw materials have been stored in store. You have taken all these measures. You have recorded in the bin card. You have given inventory code and perpetual inventory system you have maintained, and inventory count also you have performed. Fine. Now, raw material have been stored in the stores department. Now, production department requires certain raw materials to make finished goods. So now, production department needs some raw materials to produce finished goods. If production department needs raw materials, at that time, production department should send one document called material requisition note. MRN. Okay, material requisition. So even though this transaction will be taking place within the company, these controls must be available. That's why I told. The first class, second class, I told. Each and every transaction in the company must be supported by the documents. Without any documents, you should not involve in the transactions. That is very important. Okay. So here also, even though these transactions are taking place in between production and raw materials department, you must have documents. Okay. So first, if production department needs to purchase raw materials, then first they have to send material requisition note to stores. Then stores will send goods to raw materials to production department. In that point, they will issue material transfer. Okay. Stores first request made by production department. Okay, request made by production department to stores. For that, document material requisition note. After that, stores transfer Production department. Okay, for that document is material issue. Okay, so let's say they have requested 10 items. Here also they have transferred 10 items. Now production department thinks we don't need 10 items. 8 items are sufficient for this production. So again, maybe production department production department returns manuals to stores. At that point, material return. Material execution note and credit note. Short form is MRN. Don't get confused. That's why I wrote material return note. RE. Both the short form is MRN. So don't get confused. MRN material request note. So here I wrote M RET dot N. Return. So here 2 items they have returned. Okay. So it's issuing materials from store. Issuing materials from store. Every movement of materials should be documented using material requisition note, material transfer note, and material return. Okay. The issuance of materials and finished goods from the stores must be authorized. So these are the notes. Material requisition note. When materials are required from the stores for use in operations, an authorized person should make an material requisition. This is the material requisition note. Material transfers and returns. Materials that have been issued to that one department may be transferred to different department. Materials that have been issued to department may be returned to stores later because they were not required. Material that have been issued to one department may be transferred to different department. Materials that have been issued to a department may be returned to stores later. Material return note will be used because they were not required. Material transfers and material return to stores should be recorded. Materials returned to stores are recorded on materials returned. Whatever we have discussed now, I'm reading in the theory. Okay, the view. This document is the reverse of materials requisition note. It contains similar information and is used for similar purpose. Okay, so Storing materials also we have covered. Issuing materials also covered. Third most important is control levels. Inventory level should be controlled. So here only we are going to discuss. We have discussed it. 100 demand is there, but you can't keep 80 items. The same time you can't keep 150 items as also. Middle you have to maintain. Like if demand is 100, then you have to maintain 110 or 105. So I just say in my guessing, okay. The organization they can't run business like that, no. So they should have a proper calculation. So how they can determine this inventory level? Okay. At any given point of time, how much amount they should keep in the inventory. So those things are covered in inventory control level. Okay. So out of these topics, inventory control level is most important. So storing materials, straightforward thing, you can understand. Issuing materials also straightforward thing. MIN is there, MRN is there, material return notice is there. No issue. Okay. But when it comes to control, some calculations are involved. How you can determine inventory level? What is the inventory level I should keep at any given point of time in my company? In order to maintain, in order to control my unwanted inventory cost and without interrupting my business as well. As an inventory control point, first one is unwanted cost must be controlled. Second one is without any interruption, we have to run our business. So, how much items I should keep at any given point of time in my company in order to run my business smoothly and avoid unwanted costs. So that things we are going to discuss under inventory control level. So here there are three types of levels. First one is the order level. Minimum level. Maximum level. Pre-order level, medium level, maximum level. So in my previous example, I said your demand is 100 quantities. You can't keep 150. At the same time, you can't keep 80 as well. Okay. So here I will come to later pre-order level. First, we will discuss with minimum and maximum levels. Maximum level, I told 110 you can keep. How many can give 110 here? How you can determine 110? That part we are going to calculate here. We are going to discuss here. Your demand is 100, okay, but it doesn't mean you should maintain only 100. You should keep more than that. But it doesn't mean 150, 105 or 110. So 105 or 110 by guessing I told. But exact calculation you can get through this maximum level calculation. This side, definitely you should have 100. Okay, because your minimum demand level is 100. Okay, so you can keep 110 here, but minimum level you should keep 105, not 80. It doesn't mean maximum level means beyond your demand. minimum level is less than your demand. Not like that. Okay, don't misunderstand. Maximum level means more than demand. Maximum, how can you keep? Minimum level means that is also more than demand. But minimum excess amount you should keep in order to fulfill your demand. So that part we are going to cover minimum level. Reorder level means, let's say your maximum level should be 110. Okay, at any given point of time, 110 you have to maintain. Otherwise, your minimum level is 105. Let's assume, okay, 105. Let's say 100. Your demand is 90. Your minimum level is 100. Your maximum level is 110. Numbers only I am giving. Just for explanation purpose. Your demand is 90. Demand is 90. Maximum level is 110. Minimum level is 100. Okay. So now, if at any given point of time you have to keep your inventory level at 100. Okay. Now your inventory level has come down to 80. Okay. The situation come down to 80. So now you are in a situation to put new order. Additional 20 new order must be put. So here there's a time will be taken to receive that new order. If you put today itself you can't get the new orders tomorrow, day after tomorrow, it may take at least 1 week or sometimes 1 week also it may take. So here your minimum level is 100. Now your stocks have come down to 80. So now time to order again. Reorder. That means reorder. You have to order again. How much you should order? 20. But when you can decide that one? At which point you should decide this is the time to put new order on. Decide current. That's point called reorder. That will be affected by several factors. Let's say any given point of time you should maintain 100. Today your inventory level is 80. If you order today and if you are able to receive the goods today itself, then no issue. If you order 1 o'clock and if you can get items by 5 o'clock, then no worries. Only 4 hours problem. Okay. But if you can take those items after 2 days, means you should have 2 days stocks to fulfill your demands. Customers, apply. So if you can order today, and if you can today itself, you can receive means no issue. But if it takes 2 days or 3 days time, then what will happen? You should keep that stock to fulfill your customer demands. So reorder level is dependent on several factors. How long new order will come? If you order today, how long it will take to receive our permissions? Okay, if it is 1 week, that much of stock we have to keep. Okay, then if it is 1 week means our 1 week demand, let's say 10, then at 90, when our stocks are reached to 90, we have to order. If our 1 week demand is 20, then when our stocks are reached to 80, we have to order. So likewise, the order point, whether 80 or 70 or 90, your demand is, your minimum level capacity is 100. That is okay. But in order to maintain 100 stocks at given point, any point of time, you have to we have to order it again. That reach point is 80 the another 70 the kila. Reorder level. Okay. So if your stocks limit reach to 80, then you have to reordering technique. Okay. If your stock limits, the stock limit reach to 70, the 70 is reorder level. So how you can decide 80 or 70 or 60? That decision making is dependent based on several factors. How long supplier will take to deliver the items? Until deliver the items, what is our demand? How much our demand? Whether we can fulfill our demand. For example, let's say we have 100 items at any given point of time, daily basis 100 units will be sold. Okay, daily basis 100 units are sold in your business. That's the case. So 100 units are there. Now, end of the day, 90 units only you have. So tomorrow you need additional 10. Okay, tomorrow you need additional 10. So now you have to decide, if I order today evening, when I can receive the goods. If you can receive the goods day after tomorrow, then you have to order at 95 stage. Okay, you have to order mid of the day because you can receive next day. If you can receive today itself, then you can order when you reach 90. So here reorder level is, you have to understand one thing, at which point I should reorder. At which inventory level I should reorder. Other items are there. If my stocks are reached to 80, then I have to reorder. So 80 is reorder level. So if my stocks are reached to 90, I should reorder. The decision making point, that reorder decision making point called reorder level. That's not clear answer. Clear the math bar explain. Minimum level and maximum level of state 14. Reorder is little bit confused. Clear the answer? Confused. Confused. Make up confused. EOQ got confused. Take it out in QA. It will be difficult. Okay. You will take two scenarios. Okay, scenario 1 and 2. Basis 100 quantities. Okay, basis 100 quantities. So I'm not going to explain about the calculation. I want to explain the concept. So calculation automatically, if you put a formula, automatically will come. Concept only you have to understand. So first 100 quantities, your stock level. Okay, forget about this minimum and maximum level. Just understand 100. Okay, 100 is quantity level. So now, scenario 1. Here, supply and time. And per day demand. Okay. Supply time is how long he will take to deliver the items. Okay, full explain on that. Understood that? Supply time will you. So yeah, 100 quantity. So your first scenario 1. Here supplier will take 7 days. Okay, if you order today, he will deliver the items next day, next Sunday. 7 days he will take. Per day demand 10. Okay. Per day demand 10. So he will take 7 days. So 7 into 10, 70 quantities you need until new fresh delivery comes. Okay. So here, then 70 means you have to reach, then you should have next 7 days, you should have 70 quantities. Okay, 70 quantities. Forget about this maximum and minimum. You are confused, right? Item is itara, the concept is itara. Then there are 100 quantity and 1 give 100 gets say minimum. Okay, so 70 quantities you need next 70 days, 7 days, because 10 days demand. Sorry, 10 quantities per day demand. So here you should wait maximum days. If your stocks are come down to 70, you should reorder it again, because it will take 1 week time. So at least you should have 70. Again, I am saying don't confuse with minimum and maximum. I need consent. Reorder level only. Just focus on the reorder level. If you link with minimum and maximum level, it will be confused. Okay, just understand reorder level. Here, 100 quantities you have. You need your fresh. Sorry, your supplier will take 7 days to issue new quantity. Fund. In order to fulfill that 7 days demand, you need per day 10 quantities. So per day 10 quantities means 7 days, 70 quantities you should have. So if you reach your quantities into 70, then you have to order fresh. You have to put fresh order. Clear? Same here, 100 quantities. Here supply time 5 days. Same demand 10. So here 50 quantities. Okay. So this level called reorder level. At which point I should put my new order. Okay. So here demand 10, 7 days, supply will 10. Then 7 days requirement you have to fulfill. That much of stock you should have. So your reorder level is 70. Here your supply will take, scenario 2, your supply will take only 5 days. Then in order to fulfill those 5 days demand, you need only 50. Then if you reach your stock, your stocks are reached to 50, you should put fresh orders. Okay. Yeah, down question now. Kutra order down only. Kutra down only. That's why don't confuse with other concepts. Reorder level they have another. Reorder level they have another. Just understand reorder only. Reorder level only. So based on your supply time and based on your demand per day demand, you should determine your reorder level. At which point I should put new order. This is called reorder level. How much I should put? That is called EOQ. You're going to make order quantities. EOQ. That after the break we will discuss. So that's why I know this controlling part is a little bit mathematical things are involved. So don't get confused. Any mathematical things won't come to your exam. Or even the past, mathematical things not exam like that. But you have to understand the subject. Concept you have to understand. Reorder understood the reorder level understood. So with that we will have a break. And after that we will continue with other chapters. So before break, we discuss reorder level. So under reorder level, you should keep in your mind only one thing. Don't confuse with the equation. The concept only you should remember. Reorder level means at which point you have to put fresh order. That's a simple thing. At which point you should put your fresh order. So that which point that decision making is crucial. In order to decide that point, we are considering supply time and how long your supplier will take to deliver new order. And until that time period, how much your demand, how much quantity you need to fulfill your demand. With that, with those factors, you can decide pre-order level. That's the concern. So minimum level. Minimum level. What is the amount you should keep at minimum level in your organization? So beyond that level, for let's say 50 quantities are there. Scenario 2, 50 quantities. 50 quantities you should keep next 5 days. Okay, in order to fulfill your per day demand, next 5 days demand 50 quantities. So you should keep 50 quantities in next 5 days. So if you have 30 quantities, 2 days demand will not be fulfilled by you. Then what will happen? You will lose, So 50 quantities you should keep next 5 days. So if you have 30 quantities, then you want to fulfill your customer demand. That's a disadvantage to the organization. Take consideration your mind. Okay. But that is not a minimum level, because you have to understand that concept. Second part, if 30, let's say, again, don't confuse with pre-order and minimum level. I thought you can confuse pre-order example 50 level reach you have to put your fresh order. That is called pre-order level. But your minimum level means you should not spoil your customer demands. You should not spoil your business. Okay. Next 5 days until you get new fresh order. Next 5 days you need 50 quantities. Okay, fine. Let's assume if you have only 20 or 30 quantities. Let's assume 30 quantities. Only you have 30 quantities. Then 20 quantities demand you want be able to fulfill. Last 2 days you can't run your business. Okay. So here in this minimum level concept, 50 is the minimum level. Okay. 50 is the minimum level. At any given point of time, you should keep 50 quantities in your store. Then only you can run your business smoothly. In other terms, we can say minimum level means that's an alert to organization. What's the alert given to the organization? In immediate near future, immediately this 50 quantities also will become 0. Demand is 5 days. Demand was one of the 20. Where 50 quantity you have 30 quantities. Then within 3 days, entire 30 quantities will be over. Then next 2 days, 0 balances are there. So the 50 is minimum level you have to meet. Minimum quantity you should maintain 50, not below that. So 50 is the next 5 days you need 5 days demand. To fulfill 5 days demand, you need 50 quantities. So 50 is the minimum level. Again, I'm saying these 50 and reorder level 50 are not the same. Okay, that is separate thing. Minimum level means you should keep in your organization at least this much of stock in order to fulfill your customers' demand. Below that means immediately you will get zero balance. Okay, that is called minimum level. Maximum level, that is the same easy one. Maximum how much quantities you can keep. 100 demand, 150 you can't keep. Otherwise, how many quantities I can keep? If you keep 150, then what will happen? Storage cost will go up. Underwater storage cost will go up. Okay, let's say you are running a business, import features and locally selling to local market. Import from India and selling to local market. So you have rented out. You have got these premises for rent to store 100 units. Let's assume. Okay. So your demand is 100 per month. 100 per month. So you can store 120 or 110 within these premises. Additional 100 you should not purchase and store by getting rent premises, another rent premises, you can't store there because no point to store additional 100 units because you have only 100 units demand. So in these premises, you can keep 110 or 120 more than your margin, your demand. Actually, small margin you can keep because you are not going to incur more cost. Same rent you are going to pay, and same electricity you are going to pay, same security fee also you are going to pay. So likewise, you won't incur more money to maintain that 10 or 20 additional stocks. Let's assume you have purchased additional 100. Another purchase like this you need. Another electricity payment you have to pay. Another security salary you have to pay. So your cost will go up, but your demand is only 100. So you can't keep 200 stocks in your stores by incurring unwanted costs. So you can't keep 200, you can't keep 150, but at the same time you can't keep stock level equal to your demand. Little bit more you should keep. That little bit more amount called maximum level. In our example, 120. Let's say 120 is the maximum level. How this maximum level can be determined? There's an equation we have. So reorder level. When the inventory level for stores items falls into reorder level. When the inventory level for the stores item falls to its reorder level. In our example, 100 become 70. Scenario 1. Becomes 70 scenario 1, scenario 2, 50. So here this is called reorder level. Here, the doubt na again. When the inventory levels for stores item falls to its reorder level, a purchase requisition for the item should be issued and a purchase order should be made. When the economic order quantity formula is used, the reorder quantity. Don't get misunderstood and don't get confused also. Reorder quantity and reorder level not same. Okay? Confusion? Yeah. This is called reorder level. Okay, it's called reorder level. How much quantity we should order? How much quantity we should order? That is called reorder quantity equal to EOQ. Okay. First point, reorder level, at which point I should reorder. That's for reorder level. Okay. At which point I should reorder. Here, if my stocks are reached to 70, I should put my new order. That is called reorder level. Second question only, reorder quantity. How much I should order? How much? Which level? Reorder level. How much? Reorder quantity equal to EOQ. Clear? So that is called reorder quantity should be the EOQ. So how EOQ will be determined? It's the formula. Okay, economic order quantity. Then Q and Pana order another. PM order another. Then become the explanation purpose. But in organization, they should compute by using these variables. What are the variables? Cost of making an order, cost of holding one unit, holding cost, ordering cost, and demand. Okay. How much demand I have per order, how much I should incur. If I purchase this much of items, how much holding cost I should incur. These are the variable factors involving EOQ determination. Okay. To ascertain the EOQ amount, EOQ quantity. Okay. Just understand EOQ means how much I should order. Okay. Concept just understand the concept. Equations are not that much of difficult. If you apply the amounts, automatically answer will come. Okay. And I have practice questions, but I'm not going to ask any mathematical questions in your level. Not only your level, second level also. Just for understanding, to get the knowledge only, these theories are there. Questions may come from other areas. I'm not saying that other areas won't be tested. Questions may come from other areas, but these calculation areas anyway, I not see. But understand the concept. More than understanding the calculation, I have practice question. We will do that practice question. It's not a matter. But more than understand the calculation, you should understand the concept. Reorder level, at which point, reorder quantity, how much I should order. How much reorder quantity equal to economic order quantity. How that has been determined. How that should be determined. For that only, how much quantity, how much quantity I should order, that decision should be taken by using this formula. Okay, EOQ formula. Clear? Okay. So EOQ formula has been designed by considering certain variables. Those variables are ordering cost, holding cost, and demand. Rather than understanding the formula, the logic behind the formula should be understood. Okay, you should understand first logic behind the formula. At which point I should order the order level. How many quantities I should order? So how many quantities still I can order? What are the factors we have to consider? What are the factors we have to consider? So if we order, we should have order cost. And once we order the goods and after receiving the goods, we should store the stock. Right? Maintenance cost is there. And when we are ordering the stock, we should consider demand also. So how much demand we have? So these variables are most important factors in the business. What is my purchase cost? What is my ordering cost? in order to involve in one order, how much cost I should incur? If I order one time, how much cost I should incur? Sometimes it's like this, no. Sometimes too many orders also, order cost might be higher than holding cost. Sometimes too many orders, then ගොඩක් වෙලාවට order කරනවා ගන්නවට වඩා එකපාරක් ගන්න එක ලේසි. That type of situation also there. Sometimes order cost is less than holding cost. Then better to order one time and store in your storeroom. Sometimes order cost might be higher than holding cost. Sometimes holding cost might be higher than ordering cost. So these variables must be considered. On the other hand, demand. How much demand I have? So that also we have to consider. So ordering cost, holding cost, and demand. After considering all these variables only, we should decide how much quantity we should request from our supplier. Okay. But the cost we should incur for order. But the cost we should incur for holding that items. And how much our demand, how much demand we have for our product. So based on that only, we should reorder our quantity, reorder our product. So that quantity will be decided based on these factors. Okay. So if you apply these factors into this formula, then you will get how much you should order. Clear? If you apply these things, you may, in the practice questions, you may get these things will be given. Okay, order cost, holding cost, and demand will be given. Okay, if you put those variables into this formula, then automatically you will get order quantity. That is not important. Okay, the calculator but the concept, logic behind this formula to determine the reorder quantity or economic order quantity, what are the factors we should consider? That is the important thing you have to understand. Okay, in order to calculate the quantity, we should consider the demand. Order cost we have to consider. Why we should consider order cost? Why we should consider order cost? Sometimes holding cost might be higher than order cost might be higher than the holding cost. Sometimes holding cost might be higher than the ordering cost. So as a company director or that purchasing manager should consider whether one-time purchase is more profitable than several-time purchases, or other way around, which is profitable to the company. So these factors must be considered. That's why ordering cost and holding cost must be considered for this equation. And demand, obviously demand only. We have to think about the demand. So demand, ordering cost, holding cost must be considered for determine the quantity level. Okay. Inventory cost, purchase cost, holding cost, ordering cost, and costs that occur as consequence of running out inventory. Holding cost, storage space, rent, staff and equipment cost, interest charges on amount of investment in inventory, insurance cost, cost of losses due to theft. Ordering cost, you should have a skill to separate purchase cost and ordering cost. Ordering cost and purchase cost are not equal. Okay, purchase cost and ordering cost are not equal. Okay, purchase cost means raw material price. You want to purchase this chair price called purchase cost. Okay. Ordering cost means to receive this chair to your premises, what are the costs you are incurring? like transport cost. Okay. Placing orders cost. Transport delivery charges. Delivery charges they are so then AliExpress එකකින් මොනවාරි order කරලා ගන්නකොට delivery charge එකක් කියනවනේ. Item price එක purchase cost. Delivery charge is ordering cost. So ordering cost and purchase cost are not same. Purchase cost won't be changed. If you purchase 100 items, sometimes they may give discount. Okay, but if you purchase 10 items or 5 items, or purchase cost won't be changed, but order cost will be changed. If you purchase 5 items twice, let's say 300 rupees delivery charges, you should incur 600 rupees. If you purchase entire 10 items at once, then delivery charges is only 300 rupees. So ordering cost will be transport cost and other admin cost. Purchase cost is item price. And holding cost, obviously, whatever cost we are incurring to hold the items in our store. Rent, electricity, and security charges and other insurance charges. And if interest charges on amount of investment in inventory. So those are holding costs. Minimum inventory level. Minimum inventory level. The minimum inventory level for stores item is warning level. As I explained earlier, next 5 days we need 50 items. If we have 50 items only, next 5 days demand will be fulfilled by us. If we have only 30, we can't fulfill 2 days demand. So 30 is not our minimum level. 50 is our minimum level. Okay. So if we keep stocks beyond our minimum level, it is not good for organization. So minimum level means 50. Okay. Minimum level means 50. Then if we have 50 quantities, then we can satisfy our customers' need. Next 5 days until we receive the new order. So this minimum level is a warning level. Minimum level is a warning level. What's the warning? It is giving as soon as possible. Quickly, immediately your stock will be 0. It's the purpose to draw attention of the management to the possibility that inventory level may fall to 0 before the new order is delivered. Okay. So then 50 in our reorder level is 50 now. If 50 is there, let's assume our minimum level also 50. That's also depend on our equation. Okay, based on this equation. And that's a target reorder level minimum level same here. Example same name. The concept is minimum level means that minimum level of quantity should have to fulfill the customer's demand. Next 5 days demand is 50. Then until you receive your new order, you should fulfill your customer demand. So 50 quantities you must have. That is called minimum level. If you have only 20, 3 days demands you can't fulfill. So 50 means that is the alert level. What's the alert giving? What's the alert given by minimum level inventory? Immediately your stock level will be 0. It will reach to 0. So quickly get your stocks. That's the alert level. So because without stock you can't run the business. Without stock you can't run the business. No. So you can't say to your client also, your customers also, we don't have stocks until we receive the goods. We can't deliver your goods also. So likewise we can't tell. So always companies should have minimum level to maintain the demand, to satisfy the customers' demand. Measures that may Measures that may be taken include checking the expected delivery date for the new delivery with the supplier. Next 5 days means next 5 days later demand we should have. If the consumption rate remains high, checking that materials requisitions are urgent. For non-urgent materials requisitions, issues from store can be delayed until the new delivery arrives. Minimum level equation is reorder level minus average usage average lead time. Okay. Maximum level, straightforward thing. The maximum inventory level is another warning level to signal to management that inventories are possibly at an excessive level. Maximum how much quantity you can keep your store. That is the maximum level, straightforward one. Beyond that, you should not keep in the stores because that will create unwanted inventory cost. I want to express one thing here. Reorder level minimum example. This is the, if you see the minimum level computation also, same variables have been taken. Okay. In here, to understand purpose only, I put these variables. Okay. Minimum until receive the next goods, next fresh order, the company should have 50 quantities. Okay. Minimum level. Reorder level, to understand only, I put these examples. Don't get confused again, I'm saying. To understand the reorder level concept only, I have given these variables. So this one is moreover similar to minimum level. Okay. Reorder level is sometimes they may keep 80. Okay, more than demand. Reorder level more than here, let's say 7 days into 10 quantities are there. No? Minimum 70 they should have. Okay, minimum 70 they should have. Here, sometimes they will maintain reorder level as 8. Understood? Here answer. Okay. Supply time. Your supplier will take 7 days. Okay. If you order today, he will deliver next Sunday. 7 days. Per day demand. 10. Quantity. Okay. So until next Sunday, you should have 70 quantities. Okay. The make a mama queue reorder level. Like understanding purpose of the reorder make some level. Okay. So actually, this is they should keep at least 7. Okay. Reorder level so here 70 quantities minimum they should have next 7 days. Okay, next 7 days minimum. Minimum amount they should have. Make clear? Make clear? Minimum amount because they will receive new order on next Sunday. So until that period, they should fulfill their customer needs. So minimum 70 quantity they should have. So here, if it is 70 is minimum, how much the reorder level? That's the question. Okay. In order to explain the reorder level, only I took the same variables. Okay. So here, 70 into 10, 70 quantities must be there for next 7 days. That is minimum, at least they should have 70 quantities. Okay. Then if 70 is the minimum amount or minimum level, what is the reorder level? Explain this. Thank you very much. Already minimum level is 70 or 50. Okay. No, that's or other color pen also you can use. I gave one example now. 10 to 7, 17, 10 to 5, 50. Okay. But the logic we have discussed until we receive new order, how much quantity we should keep in our store. That's the logic. Amount logic that is called minimum level. At least we should have this much. Here, 70 quantity. Then RO L kila then money. Pure level kila eka kapda minimum level kila. Note kar pa इंतरा लिया मैं. Note kar लेता make note कर. Note कर pa आया. इतना reorder level के लिए एक कट करला minimum level के लिए. Okay. First example, I gave 2 scenarios. 10 into 5, 10 into 7. Okay, 50, 70. They are 50 and 70. I have told reorder level. That reorder level, why I have told reorder level like that amount? Because to understand that one. But exactly that is called minimum level. Because at least the word called at least next 7 days you should have this amount. That is minimum, at least you should have minimum level. If that is minimum means 70 is minimum means what is reorder level? Minimum level there, money. If minimum 70 means what is reorder level? Above that. Okay. Above that, any amount reorder level. Somewhere 75 or 80. I can't say what's the amount above that. Okay, then reorder level. Because at any above minimum level, they should before reaching the minimum level, they should keep the reorder level, and if they reach the reorder level, they should put the new order. Then always they should have little more stock in their store. So next 7 days, 17 immediately above 73. stores suddenly you got extra demand. What will happen? 7 days, 10 average demand is okay. But suddenly one day you got 15 demand. You get 15 items demand. What will happen? Will you say that we don't have stocks? Once we receive the stocks, we will deliver. Then we get the back. Customer lose. So always to safeguard those things, always reorder level must be more than minimum level. It might be 80 or 90. It depends. Okay. Meaning more than reorder level. Then what will happen? Let's say once you reach 80, now you are reordering. Next 7 days. Let's say 70 items. So next 7 days, minimum demand is 70. Still you have additional 10 units in your stock. So reorder level must be always more than minimum level to keep provision. Okay? Then okay, the reorder level, minimum level. Maximum level on that. The calculation minimum level, reorder level, okay? नोट कर दिया इतना बात कर लिया है तो हम सब और ठीक है क्लियर reorder level must be more than Why reorder level must be more than minimum level? Always organization should have some provision to cope up with extra demand. Okay, to fulfill extra demand. 7 days, per day demand 10. So next 7 days until you get new order, minimum you will get 70 orders. Means 70 quantities. But if you suddenly get additional 5 or 10, that for those demands also you should fulfill. For that purpose, always you should keep additional stocks. Clear? Any confusion you can ask. So, few other controlling systems also there. Apart from those main controlling systems, controls reorder level, maximum and minimum order level, some other controlling systems also there. First one is order cycling method. Second one, 2-bit system. No, why these controls are there? Controls okay, fine. Reorder level, minimum level, maximum level, and now we are going to discuss about these other controlling methods also. Others, apart from those main controlling, other controlling also there. Why these controls are implemented? Why these controls are implemented? Why organization should implement these controls? These other controls, main reorder level, minimum level, maximum level. Why they should implement these things? Yes. What is smoothly in order to perform business operations smoothly? That's the thing. Without interrupt customer demand, without interrupt your business, at the same time, control your unwanted cost. We have to implement these controls. So, 4 other controls also there: order cycling method, 2-bit system, classification of materials, and purpose to order system. What is mean by order cycling method? Order cycle means companies, they segregate some items days wise, 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, like that. Okay. Let's say A item, B item, C item. For example, A item 90 days, B item 60 days. If they should keep A items 90 days, 90 days, 90 days stated quantities, stated A item should be there. A item should fulfill 90 days demand. B item should fulfill 60 days demand. C items should fulfill 30 days demand. So always, let's say A item, they should always keep stock to fulfill 90 days demand. If that is reduced, automatically they should reorder. B item 60 days. So let's say 60 days demands 60 quantities. If their stock has come down to 50, then automatically they have to reorder 10 quantities. Likewise, days wise, they will put controls. A item 90 days stocks should be there. B items 60 days stocks should be there. C items 30 days stock should be there. If those stocks are reduced, immediately they should reorder relevant item and they should make it 30 days stock should be available. That is called order cycling. Two-bin system, simple. They always they should use 2 bins. It doesn't mean only bins. 2 stores. In A bin 100 quantities, B bin 100 quantities. Let's say their demand is 100. They should keep 2 bins 100. First, they have to use A bin. Once A bin is completed, then they have to start to use B bin. While they are using the B bin, then they have to fill the A bin. Likewise, they should use 2 bin system. So they can manage without interrupt their business, they can manage the stock trade. Classification of materials, expensive, inexpensive, and middle cost range. Likewise, they can classify and they can order accordingly. And final one, purchase to order system. They are not going to store any items. Once they get the order from their customers, based on that, they will order from their supplier. Chip system, just in time, keeping surrounded. So likewise, if they get 10 orders, what are the raw materials required for those 10 orders? They will calculate those raw materials only they will purchase from their suppliers. Based on the customer order, they will order. They want keep additional stocks in their stores. Okay, there are some pluses and minuses are there. We are not going to discuss that extent. But purchase to order system means once you get the order from the customer, let's say 2 units of chairs, if your customer required, then relevant raw materials for those chairs only you will import from your supplier or purchase from your supplier. Then based on that you will manufacture that chairs and you will supply to your customer. So purchase to order system means once you get the order from your customer, relevant raw materials only you will purchase from your supplier and you will fulfill that customer order. You won't keep any additional stocks in the stores. Clear? Physical safeguards for inventory. The straightforward thing. Physical safeguards, CCTV cameras, maintain the stores areas at appropriate temperature. Some food items, if you want to maintain some food items, temperature must be there. And humidity level, provide suitable storage facilities for those items such as refrigeration for items that should be stored low temperatures. So these are the safeguards. So use some items or the food items, that is also safeguards. CCTV cameras allow access to the stores only authorized person. Okay. Regular physical counts of valuable stores items. Train store staff in the use of moving equipment such as forklift trucks. What is mean by this? How this one will help to protect inventory. Trade slows down. Trade slows down in the use of moving equipment. Damages, to avoid the damages. We have to train them to how to handle the stocks. That's also physical safeguards. Ensure inventory against fire or physical damages. And these are the safeguards related to inventory. Again, I will tell CCTV camera, appointing security guard, that is access control, allow access to the source only authorized person. How you can control this one? By appointing security guard. So appointing security guard, fixing CCTV camera, maintaining certain food items with refrigeration help, and train slow staff to use. Use of moving equipment such as forklift and trucks. Business is connected with the inventory management process. So again, I'm not going to ask what is business risk from you. So I will read here. Physical damages and risk of running out important inventory item. Simple. If you don't have enough inventory item, there is also risk. If you incur more holding costs, that's also risk. If any damages happen in the inventory, that is also risk. Perishable nature items, if you are going to write off, that is also risk. It's fill packet things like your expiry date is only 4 days. If you purchase more than your demand, then you will be compelled to make provisions for those items. So that will come to your P&L expenses. So this physical risk, excessive cost delivering goods from store to operational units around the country, risk of running out important inventory item. If items are not available to fulfill your customer demand, then that will impact to your business. So that's also risk. Risk of excessive inventory levels. 100 demand is there, but you have 150 items are there means that's also a problem. It will increase your holding cost. Risk of issuing store sites to individuals who should not receive them. Risk of errors in inventory records, bill card errors. Difference between physical and records. Risk of accepting goods into store that do not correspond correctly with items ordered from the supplier. So with that, inventory is over. We will discuss. I will give 5 minutes to write 10 minutes to write the answers for first 2 questions. And we will discuss, if time permits, third one we will discuss. Otherwise, first 2 questions we will discuss and finish it off. Write the answers for the first 2 questions. So, yeah, so we will be able to finish it off business process next class. So from class onwards, we are going to start to discuss internal control. Business process straightforward thing. On the already process was here. So internal control after that audit, I think it will be a new thing to you. So don't cut the classes. Like business process, some new things are there. So I want to explain more. Don't cut the classes. So for internal control, business process, if you cut the class also, you can, if you read the you can understand no issue. But internal controls and especially audit, by reading the rule, it said only you can't understand properly because audit and internal controls are due to you. I don't think we have studied earlier. Even any internal control audit. That's process reporting anyway. Some knowledge you have. Internal controls also something you have. But internal controls, we are not going to discuss some internal controls with examples. Okay. So examples already I have given. Up to cash management, I have given the due. So next class, when you are coming to next class, you have to write internal controls for inventory and property plant equipment management. Okay. At least 5 internal controls you have to write them down. Each 5, each section 5, BP 5 and inventory 5 internal controls. So your second chapter is internal control. There we are not going to discuss about examples of internal controls. Okay. Other aspects of internal control only we are going to discuss. Already in the first class, I told somewhere around 12 or 14 topics are there in the internal control. So those are other aspects, not examples. The examples we are covering here. After each and every business process, what are the internal controls available in the business process? We are covering here. Other aspects of internal controls only we are going to discuss under internal control chapter, which is which will cover 35% of your syllabus. Okay. So don't cut the classes and theory wise also new things to you, not like business process. After completing business process, 2 more chapters are there under business process, payroll process and digitalization. So after completing those 2 chapters, I will give 2 questions under business process. Either is the class. Already you have decided food so no. Yes, no, them. Yes. You can decide. I'm not going to allocate to you. You can decide. All of the all decided on it. Anyway, I'm not going to give next class. Second Saturday only I'm going to give after finishing this entire business course only. I will give the book assignment. One thing I want to ensure whether I want to allocate the team group or yourself you can allocate. Okay then. I just go over and I just on the mother net. Okay, then based on the register, okay. Okay, based on the register, I will allocate the flow. After that, I will go to the class of if you have any concern, you know, but too many changes I can't do. Take a mother in the middle of the team. How many groups you want? Again. Director and some another. Come on, take 5. You want 10 groups or 8 groups? 8 and 20. Okay, I will complete the team because not next class. Next class I will give. Before giving the assignment, I will give the team members. So not 7. I think more than 100. 13. और टेस्ट आईडी बोलता है टेस्ट आईडी में होगा okay anyway, I will send the group details before giving the assignment. If you have any concern, let me know. Okay, what's the answer for first question? Will you explain three risk associated with the procurement process? Purchase process risk. Purchase process risk. No, just wait for the risk. Risk associated with procurement process. That is issues to be there. That question also available. Later we will discuss. So procurement process risk. Just three risks. Goods are purchased more than required. By the answer, goods are purchased more than required. Goods are purchased more than required. Goods are purchased more than required. More than required. Goods are purchased more than required. Damaged goods are accepted without damaged goods are accepted without properly checked. Without properly checked. Without properly checked. Supplier payment. Supplier. Supplier payment. Without purchase the goods. Without purchase the goods. Or without receive the goods. Without receive the goods, supplier payments are made. Or supplier payment is made. Without receiving the goods, supplier payment is made. Without receiving the goods, supplier payment is made. Okay. Second answer for second question. List the main steps of procurement process. What are the main steps? Identify the need for purchase. Receiving quotation. Here you don't need to explain further. Okay, you have been asked to write only risk or state. If you have been asked to answer the question like state or risk or provide, just mention the answer. Don't waste time and explain too much. Even marks is given for 605. If you have been asked to write state, list, provide, then you just write the points. That is enough. So here is no. We have been asked to list the procurement process. Identify the need for purchase. Make inquiry for price and inquiry about price and quantity. Receiving quotation. Supplier selection. Confirming the order through PO. Sending purchase requisition and confirming the order. Goods received. If goods are damaged, goods should be returned. And receiving invoice and make the payment. In between, account statement also there. You can write. Otherwise, if you don't write also, don't worry, you won't lose the marks. Okay. So you are ready with that, we will conclude the session. So initially I plan to conclude the business process within 4 classes, but I do so one more class for 8. So from 6th class onwards, 6, 8, 6, 7, 8. 2 more 3 classes. We will take to discuss internal control. Rest of the class, next 8 or 7 classes, entirely audit. Okay.